Church. Okay, we're back. So, like I was saying, herbs work best in combination, in tandem. You know what I mean? And I was, you know, comparing it to a fight. Any fight, like war, fighting, squabbling. You know what I mean? We're gonna go through them all. So, when you have a one-on-one, right? That's what they're talking about. Like, anybody can win this. Nothing is promised in a fight and stuff like this, right? Now, even so much as like professional sports like boxing or when you see a hockey fight or a squabble one-on-one in NBA, those are the wackest. NFL's not much better, but at least like mans are swinging. Like I don't know, it's well because they got the helmets, they're swinging for different parts of the body too, right? Then you have MMA. Sorry. Then you have MMA, which by the way, I've never watched a full MMA fight in my life. I don't really even like MMA. Like, I don't know any of the fighters. I know a few of them, like the classic ones, Tito and shit. I used to watch like a little bit back then, but I never really like tuned in, like went to a UFC fight party. Actually, a dear friend of mine that used to stay with, or we used to, I used to stay with them. They used to stay with me. I used to stay with them, and we used to live together. Sorry. They used to have a few, UFC fights back in the day or whatever, right? Or they probably still do. Who knows? But so I used to be at the crib and like they'd have these parties, and they're all my friends and stuff too, or like most of them were like 60-70% were, I don't know, I'm not worried about that, but they'd have these parties and they'd be UFC parties, so I'd be just hanging around, lingering around, you know what I mean? Everybody be watching the big fight, I'd be like rolling around on my phone, talking or something, you know what I mean? Butting a spliff, rolling a spliff, out on the porch, you never know. Yeah, I've never seen a UFC fight, so when you're talking about those are all like one-on-one fights, right? So those are where those rules that I said applies in the previous video. And when you're talking about like bullying and kids getting jumped though, you never hear none of that shit when you're talking that, right? Because that's how herbs work, right? When you are fighting a malady, which is strong, like you've been putting shit to your guts, your malady's been doing all these years. It's like a nigga that just came into prison, and you're the guy who runs the range, and your malady's been like, oh yeah, fucking doing his push-ups, looking at you like, okay, and you don't even know that malady's coming through, but when from that malady stepped through the gates, you know what I mean, just like it was a prison yard or something like that, or on the range or something, you know what I mean. He's looking at you like, oh, you run the range, okay, let me just bulk up a bit so I can come mash you up and take that, right? So that's what your maladies are doing. And you stand no chance by the time they strike. You stand a small chance. People just also beat cancer out of nowhere or whatever, even though they've been smoking or while smoking and shit. It's not smart. You know what I mean? When you got like any of these maladies, just quit smoking cigarettes, Smoke some weed if you want. Make sure the better the weed, like the more natural the weed, the better. You know what I mean? If you can get someone who doesn't like put all this bullshit pesticide, Miracle Grow, whatever the fuck you guys are using in it, I don't know. The rock salts and all this shit, right? The nitrogen and all this, right? Even ash, like, which is a natural substance. If you don't use ash in the right consistency, you're doing more harm to some of these plants, weed and non-marijuana plants alike. You're doing harm to those, right? So, you've been putting shit in your body, and you know what I mean, all these years, and your malady's been like, that's a feeding your malady. So your malady, that's the push-ups I'm talking about, right? It's looking at you like, yo, I'm gonna smack the fucking gravy out your fucking ass one of these days, right? So finally, when it strikes, when the doctor finally gets, warmer. Oh, you're red hot, doc. When the doctor's like, oh, I'm on it, I found it. Oh my God, I know what's going on. By that time, it's too late. Okay? Every year, your body's telling you stuff before the doctor even knows. i.e. before it manifests to a level that the doctor can even like detect it. Which, by the way, well before that, Sparky could tell you what your body's saying to you. Like if you just called me up one day and said, "Yo, I had this, Sparky," what's that mean? I could tell you that. I can tell you what your body's saying. Anyways, so by the time you get, the fight comes. By the time your malady sets it off, you've already, you know what I mean. You've almost already lost, right? Unless you do a concerted and strategic attack, and that's where the herbs come in. And my saying, they work in tandem. Like anybody who's a herbalist, or all these herbalists that what I mean. I told you I had to go back over to Calgary or skip over like I did and go to Okanagan to get my knowledge. You know what I mean? Anytime, and all of a sudden now. So I was telling you guys like, in 2000 when I started. I was like, I could see this going like blowing up because of shishi soccer moms that are coming in to the apothecary and buying stuff. I said, this is the crowd that, they speak into magazines and stuff like that. They actually do word of mouth travel about, positive things and stuff like that, right? And they talk about the herbs. And they'd come in and they'd talk to me about the herbs. And it'd be all wrong, but at least you could see the passion in them. And not all wrong, but like, 80, 70, 90% wrong, but heaven bless them. Like, you can see the passion in their eyes, and you know that pretty soon, like, this information is going to get the ball rolling and people start to get it, right? So, flashback now to, 2010, 11, 12, and beyond. And now all these expert herbalists are popping up out of the woodworks, you know what I mean? They're like younger than me and don't have like, no time in an apothecary, just went on the internet or read a book and seen this stuff or took a few herbs or 1-2 herbs. Anytime them type of people tell you, CBD oil is great for this. Yeah, it is. But it's not going to fix it. You know why? Because it's a one-on-one battle with a bully that you've been feeding. Like, it's going up against Bluto, dog. It's going up against, like, Brawley, the legendary... It's going up against Brawley, the legendary super disease. You know what I mean? So, you're not going to win, really, unless you, A, got Gus D'Amato in your corner, or B, just get fucking lucky out of nowhere. And even still, like, 90% of the time, you're not beating that without... with one herb, So, yeah, CBD oil is going to work for this, you know what I mean? Burdoc's going to work for that, you know what I mean? Oh, your sea moss contains 92 the essential minerals. Well, first of all, most of you guys have been getting jacked and finessed for the wrong type of sea moss. See, where I came up, we didn't call it sea moss. The sea moss that you guys think you're getting, we called it Irish moss. Or Chondrus crispus, its Latin name. You know why? Because there's different types of sea moss, fam. Psst. It's like when you say weed. When you say weed, you're talking about cannabis, indica or sativa mainly, but also you could be talking about, if you know anything about rubidalis, right? Which most of you, A, aren't talking about because it doesn't get you high, and B, don't know about because it doesn't get you high. But my point is that at least those are the same plant. When you're talking about sea moss, you're talking about up to 3 different plants. And so that's where when you guys ask for sea moss, it's really easy for you guys to get finessed because really they're not even finessing you. Most of the time, it's the people that are selling it to you don't even know the difference because they're a businessman and not a herbalist. And also, it was sold to them under the pretense and guise that it was sea moss, which it was, but it's not the right type, right? So that's why you get someone who's in the know. And just like these guys are, either taking advantage or their lack of knowledge is giving you guys fake sea moss, right? So even if we're talking about sea moss, like, sea moss alone ain't gonna get it done, man. It's fighting a battle of its life, you know what I mean? You need all hands on deck. You ever heard that word? That saying? You ever heard, 2 heads are better than 1? You ever heard, it takes a community or a village to raise a child? You ever heard, 2 heads are better, or no, what's the other ones? I don't know. Lay them out there, you know what I mean? Herbs work best in combination and tandem, you know?